Oh, something happened. Did she just fall?
They fell out. They fell off. They fell out off the cliff.
Oh, okay.
No,
Damn
there we
it.
are.
Oh,
Now where am I?
back in jail.
Yep. So you'll notice here that everything's now kind of familiar to
I'll break my neck if I try
to
to
the
climb down
last level
that.
we had in Lord Sinclair's place. So now that Brent is now hooked up in a room,
This is no use to me.
we now have to try and find a few things before we
I
get
don't think I'll
disturbed.
sit down.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now I can be a
like this.
ghost.
Hello, I'm Ghost Detective
Can't
Brent
go to
Halligan,
sleep
deceased.
now. I've got things to do.
I'm some sort of Monty Python character now.
I'm not putting my head into that, thank you very much. A yoke. I've seen one of these before in a museum. I'm not putting
Yes,
my head
if
into
anyone's
that, thank you very much.
unfamiliar, a yoke is a very common term in Ireland for everything.
Of course.
Everything that you're like, any
Of
technological thing
course,
that
it's
your
got to
nan
be.
doesn't understand is called a yoke in Ireland, which is hilarious because it's also like a double meaning
Ugh,
for
that's
a pill of
half full.
MDMA. So
Yep.
your nan could be talking about a remote control for the
Of
TV,
course, it's
or
got
actually
to
just wants to
be.
drop some ketamine. It's in some
I don't
families,
want to
it's
take
very hard
that
to
with
tell
me
sometimes.
either.
And sometimes it's the yellow bit of an egg.
That too. Again, depending on who it is, there could be any one of the three. Maybe you want to watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire High while eating eggs.
I'll break
Who
my
knew?
neck climbing down there. Nice view. This building must be pretty high up.
Aha.
So you are the stranger who came to us through the Gate of the
Ooh.
Worlds. We meet at last. I am very pleased to see you.
Oh, yes? I can't say the feeling's mutual. I want to get out of here. This minute. Who are you,
And I
anyway?
want it now.
Shh. Be calm. Nothing will happen to you here. I am your friend.
My friend? That's a lie. I can do without friends like you.
We have been expecting you. We need you. You are the one all our
So you can
hopes
tell
are
from the
hanging
voice
on.
actor, this is
What's
meant to
that?
be
You've been expecting me?
the old
That's
professor,
impossible.
Professor
I
Blake.
came here from the year
Yeah.
2000. You can't even know I exist.
You came to us through the Gate of the
Unfortunately, he
Worlds.
hasn't
He who comes through this
the
gate has the power
gyrating
to alter
hands
the
was
course
not
of
a
history.
genetic trait because
Yeah.
he's
Right
That would have
now,
made
solemnly
it
you
more
know
old.
where I
obvious.
am.
You are in a
Hmm.
monastery, the final refuge of the last.
Well, in fairness, he's
Druids.
got the beard and
You have come to us in our
the
greatest
voice, so
hour of need.
What do you
halfway there.
mean?
Our order is facing extinction. For thousands of years, we have been handing our knowledge down from generation to generation. Every pupil was instructed by his mentor for 20 years, until he was worthy of being taught all the secrets of the Druids. And finally, he would become a mentor himself.
I see. And?
I'm
Druids'
pointing at you
power
now.
can serve either good or evil. The mentor's
Who
teaching
has ever
alone
pointed while
determines
saying
which
I
side
see?
will prevail. A pupil
Like,
without a mentor is left to his own devices. He acts without wisdom or knowledge, and thus becomes hungry for power and evil.
Okay, that's old news so far.
Our Grand Master Surston killed his mentor and became evil. Yet he succeeded in becoming the leader.
the
Our
sentencing is
brother.
interesting
He is
there.
now
He
preparing
killed
a
him
ritual
first and
mightier
became
than
evil.
any that has ever been performed. He wishes to
Not
transfer
that
the
he
entire
is evil
Brotherhood's
and
power
killed his
to
mentor.
5 infants, to ensure that the power of the Druids will live on forever. These infants will be stronger
Okay.
than any Druid the world has ever seen, and they will grow up without a mentor. They are destined for
So obviously
evil.
these are the
Tyrants,
inheritors
mighty,
which we met
immortal,
around the dinner table in Lord
Yeah.
Sinclair's
invincible.
Sounds
place
familiar.
2,000 years later.
Together, we can prevent this from happening. A small circle of brothers have united under my leadership with the intention of stopping Surstan.
But
Well, why does he
Surstan
talk
seems
in
to
perfect
suspect something
modern
is going
English?
on. Ever since we
With an
occupied
American
this
accent.
monastery, he
Like,
has
Yeah.
been building fortifications.
again, it's almost like
Not
this
anyone but himself
this
can
Blake
enter
fellow
the
is
places of
transporting through
worship. We
time.
know there is a
Or they're
secret
just trying to
room
save
where
the
he
voice
keeps a
actors.
crystal ball. We also know that Surstan has had our temples close to the river altered. With your help, we will get past his fortifications.
why do you need my help for that?
We are few, and Surstan is having us watched. We need somebody of equal power to him.
And you think that's me?
Your
It's
journey
not
here
Brent.
has given you the power to alter
Plot
the
twist,
course
it's
of
Melanie.
history. That is more than any of us.
Even bigger plot twist. It's the homeless guy outside the museum.
That harbors
Yeah.
the crystal ball. I have arranged for you to be allowed to
Where's his analog in this monastery?
your execution.
The day of my execution? Oh, great. Now you tell me. How much time does that give me?
I must leave you now. I bid you good luck.
Hey, where will I find you? What's your name, anyway?
I am called Maglor.
Oh, great. Inspector Miller will never believe this.
I am called
If I
Maglor.
ever get to
I will not give you my
Melanie,
details.
Hold on. Where did
I
she
walked
get
it like. Oh,
I only
God.
give my address to friends and people who will save my life.
I can't go to sleep now.
And I'm
I
going to
refuse
ignore the
kill.
fact that you asked about your execution.
Yeah, he kind of lowballed that one in, didn't he? I suppose there is worse ways to find out. Like Brent could literally just be in the stocks going, something seems off here.
Oh, there's Magnar.
Yeah, found them.
There you are. I've been looking for you.
Have you discovered anything yet?
I have to learn how to find my way around here first. Don't you think you might be able to show me around the monastery?
Out of the question. We should not be seen together. We will make sure that Surstan's spies do not bother you. Everything else is up to you.
What have you done with Melanie Turner?
She is safe for the moment.
She is a woman. We have her in this place
What do you
called
mean,
the kitchen.
For the moment.
The day of her execution is the same day when your life will end.
That sounds really encouraging.
So in other words, getting executed at the same time. You literally could have just said that. That's not
Surstan
hard.
has decreed that the day of the ritual
Like-
shall be the day you both die.
Where's Melanie now?
She may move freely within the monastery, just like you. I have been to see her and told her everything. I do not know where she is now. I believe she wanted to take a look around the library.
The library?
Library? That's no place for a woman. They've got books there. You could learn.
Okay. I'm sure I'll find her.
I can go find you, Brent.
I'll
That's
see you
you.
later.
Yeah.
I can't light it. I need some matches to do that.
They're already lit, Brent.
Looks like someone does a lot of writing here.
I mean, it's a nice decoration around here, you know. It's got all the trimmings. It's got jugs, 3 candelabras, what looks to be some mistletoe on the draped around. It's
I
nice.
can't light it. I need some matches to do that.
Like, you'd pay about $2,000 a month for that in Dublin.
That's true, actually. Yeah,
I think there are better moments to live
including
than
the old man in the robe staring at everything you do. Okay, so now we get to wander around the monastery free of charge.
a musical presentation. This wouldn't make my room look much better.
He's such a dickhead. I was like, no, don't like the colours.
Not a pretty sight.
As Brent's realizing that meat comes from animals. Breaking fucking news there.
Crates. Perfectly ordinary crates.
So yeah, this is obviously like the majority of the end of the game is set in this castle now. So
I don't
there's a
need
lot of
this.
redundant rooms.
I don't
Like they
need
kind
any
of
this.
designed the area first and then built the
It's too
game,
high up.
or like they kind of worked out the puzzles from
Anyway, it's
there,
barred.
which I don't dislike in a sense. It is just inherently inefficient. It's something you do only when you're actually like confident in every other like mechanical part of the game. Not something you just kind of like hope works, you know?
This wouldn't make my room look much better. A medieval
Like,
scene with
It's all
a
different
shed
tapestry and all that. I have no idea if they're real tapestries or not, like, you know, like taken from genuine works of art, but I don't think so. They kind of seem very bespoke for the game, considering some of them were druidic in nature.
Ah, books. Too bad I wouldn't be able to understand a word of them.
Let's see.
I'm not the least bit tired. Ah, books. Too bad I wouldn't be able to understand a word of them.
Brent, of course, couldn't read to begin with, so he's no chance of reading medieval English. So the way I think this works around is, so basically the monastery I think has like 3 different wings to it, and you basically like you have one of these kind of rooms that joins everything together. So this is the forbidden door, and no one can go through the
These
forbidden door
are solid iron.
until the plot demands us to go through the forbidden door.
Forbidden door.
Forbidden door. I think every good monastery has to have a forbidden door. You know, I think this is part of the culture. You know. He's running away. My next exercise is going to try and do the Halligan run, where I lift my knees
Oh
up
my
to
God.
my chin.
Yeah,
I'll take
and
these
stare
tables with me.
unblinkingly ahead of you
No one will notice
And
I'm missing.
point unnecessarily at people.
while wearing a trench coat.
Good grief. There must be hundreds of candles.
Ah, yes, the John Barrowman, as I believe it's called. I mean, clearly, when you look at Brent Halligan, you see where Doctor Who got the inspiration for David Tennant's variation of the Doctor, you know? They're the exact same personality, the exact same character.
A basket. It's empty.
Take it? Use it, maybe? Do something, Brent? You know? I mean, when it comes to ingenuity, Melanie's kind of showing you up here, Brent, you know? Like, you're the one that's that's a detective. Maybe do some detectiving? That's also another thing about the way he's written. Like, he's not actually... I don't... Like, Brent isn't written as a police detective.
Lord.
You know?
Blood.
Like, he's got like a kind of few token words like, oh, you're under arrest, I have some questions for you. It's like... But he doesn't actually act like a detective. You know what I mean? This is why I feel like they're kind of written to be like George and Nico from Broken Sword, because he's a lawyer and you have got a photojournalist. And if you actually kind of place those characters up over them instead... it actually kind of fits a bit better, you know.
I'd need some matches to do that.
But
I'm on duty.
that's what I say. I feel like
drinking for me today.
I feel like they just
Druids
didn't
dead.
write the characters well at all. So
No, nothing about this is written well.
no,
Like, I was explaining to... Oh,
What do you want?
I take it
Oh.
you're Sestan,
Yeah.
am I right?
And you are the man who came all the way here just to
I
let
genuinely
me
thought
kill
that
him?
was some
What
sort
do
of
you
gorilla.
want? Is there no kind of life I've granted you too much for
just
you?
whatever way the frame rate moved on my thing.
Yeah.
What are you planning to
So-
do to us?
obviously
Great
Sir
day
Stan
has
is
come.
Lord Sinclair's
The
descendant.
ritual
That's
has been perfected.
obviously goes without saying.
Your lives will end.
Why don't you just kill us right now?
You are indeed lucky to be
So,
allowed to
I think,
live. A few
if
more
I remember
days,
correctly,
and Brother Magnus
I think around the
shows
table
up
there were
for you.
6 people. There was other inheritors there.
Capable of refusing
So
him his wish.
I think if you kind of like
I
do
have such
a little bit
very
of the maths, you
soft
realize that you
heart.
basically have one extra inheritor, and that's
What did
at
Magnus
some
say?
stage the
He
game is expecting
suggested
to realize
making
that
you
Sir
our
Stan
witnesses.
is actually Lord Sinclair, like they're the same person
Witnesses of
essentially,
our unlimited
or
power. You
direct
will
descendant
watch
or
your
something along those
miserable
lines,
world
which I think is
come to
why
an
they kind of deliberately had
You will see a
all
new
the other kind of main
eternal
contemporary characters
empire
having a
arise from the
historical
ashes.
equivalent,
And then
so then you can make that
will
connection
die, a
somehow
great
before the end of the
honor will
game
be
for the last
bestowed
puzzle.
upon you. You will be the last sacrifices of the old
Oh,
world.
God.
You're
It's all so
mad,
messy.
completely insane.
Yeah. Oh, look, in fairness, it serves a purpose, right? Like obviously,
I've come to offer
functionally,
you
you don't have to like have another like round of voice actors speaking in ye olde English, because that would sound
Yeah.
terrible. You know.
Yeah, true.
So it does. I don't dislike it in a sense, because we were on the channel, we had played Shadow of Memories, which is kind of not too far away from this. In fairness, it's a time travel game, and basically all of your contemporary characters are literally the same in the past, as in it is the same faces, same voices, just different names, basically. And the town is the same, basically. So when you're going from you're jumping from the modern age to the 70s to the 1600s, the town has not changed, but the buildings have, or the like one building is this in the 16th century and is now something else.
How dare you
So
set yourself up as the
in a
Lord
way,
of
like
Life
that's
and
deliberate to obviously to save on voice actors, but it's also the point that these are direct descendants. You just have
So you're
to
keeping
they
us here
broke the
just
same
because we
characters, so
approached the
whatever
monastery.
works in the
That's not
past
much
works
of
in
a
the future.
reason.
That sort of stuff, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
and that does make sense. It does.
Yeah,
However,
it does.
meaningless to me.
However,
I
it's just
am the
executed so
one
badly.
reason for
It is,
everything
and that's the thing.
that
And Shadow
goes
Memories
on
was kind of
here. My will
like
is the will
their
of
hearts were
my
in the right
brothers.
place, but they still made
How
a
proud of
pretty
being
woeful
led
attempt
by
at
a
it, you know.
chosen one like me.
However, Shadow
I
Memories
made them the
was
path
substantially
of the
funnier in
grand
its
scheme of
execution
things.
than
He's not just a
the
common
Mystery of the
tyrant,
Druids.
except a little more of a
You know.
megalomaniac
Yeah.
than most.
Dominance and unity are the keys to all great deeds. The
Yes,
unconditional
I was explaining
submission
this
I
to Nordy
expect
that
from my
I was like, "Oh, this is
followers
the premise of the
is the
game,"
first step
and he was like,
towards
"That doesn't
real
sound bad. Why are you
unlimited
dreading doing
power.
this?"
The kind of
I
power
was
I
like,
will gain
"Wait
for
until you
our
watch it,
order, but
and
a
you will
mortal
see
like you
why
Yeah.
I
will
am
never
dreading this."
understand that.
Because, but
You may be
as you
right
said,
there.
it is all just down to to sticking the
I
landing.
know
You know,
some things
like
you can't.
again, a game
What
about like
might that
druidic
be?
lore
I
and
won't
magic
tell you
is
until you
really,
give me
really
your
good. That's a
word that you will
good
let me
that's a
and
good
my
plot.
friend
That's a
go.
good premise.
What?
But
You cannot
every
truly
game
believe
starts off
that
with
I
a
will
decent enough
fall for a
premise
trick like
or
that.
hook.
There is nothing
But
you can know.
and
There is
especially with a
nothing
point and
you
click
can
adventure game,
bargain with.
not to say that it's hard
I
to fuck
will
up,
not
but there's
enter
less
into
things to fuck
any
up.
deal
You know,
with a
Uh-huh.
if
useless
you're doing like a
creature
shooter,
you.
like you
I
have to
will
get the
grind
basics
you
of that right. If you're
underfoot.
doing a racing game,
If it
you know,
pleases me to
having
do
your car
so.
stay on a
That
piece
is
of road
all
without
you
falling
may
through,
expect
that
from
requires a
me.
bit of effort.
Now
You
get
know,
out of my
whereas
sight.
you don't have to worry about combat, you don't have to worry about anything like fast acting like that. You just need to write good characters and have a decent plot. That just didn't happen in this.
A dining table. It's big.
And then this is also me trying to figure out now. After I kind of copped that the castle is supposed to be basically analogous to all the other places we've been, like what other like characters are hiding in the background? Because obviously there's a few of these as it were monks or druids, whatever you want to call them, that
The
are not.
drunk is gonna be here.
I don't want to break
I
anything.
I guess.
I'd better not touch.
Although weird enough, I think from the camera angle, I think this is meant to be the lab, but I can't tell. I genuinely couldn't tell you which is which. Like. Because like the camera angles, they use the same camera angles from from Scotland Yard, but this is obviously not Scotland Yard, and so it's either that or Lord Sinclair's
Crabs.
like manor
They're for snobs.
that we see like barely anything of. So it's hard to say if that's actually if it's meant to be like for like or not.
Particularly tasty. Maybe later. You never know. It might come in handy. These are roots.
Oops.
What do I need that for?
This game obviously never heard of red herrings when it comes to picking up items, because when you see two brightly colored objects on a table, your instinct is to pick up both. But
Yeah.
we would just told no to the purple stuff because it's clearly not intended for anything. You know, it's daft the way to do things.
That's an iron crucible. It's empty.
And again, that's literally something they would have learned from the Broken Sword games, where there's some items you can pick up early and you never find a use for, but you carry them around forever. Like I've told you the Lucky Cole story, haven't I? From the Broken Sword games.
The
No.
mysterious inlaid
Okay. Well, if we ever end up playing the second game, we'll come across it anyway. But just as a kind of a by the by, in the first game, you can pick up a piece of coal
An old
early on, and George just has it in his pocket for the entire time. It serves absolutely no purpose. It does nothing, absolutely nothing.
Melanie, there
But
you are.
in the second
Where have you
game,
been? I
he
was worried about
calls
you.
it his lucky
Just
piece of
having a look
coal,
around,
and he
Okay.
carries it towards the end of the game. But it does actually serve a purpose,
Yes, I'm okay.
Melanie,
not for the
we're in
plot,
pretty
but for an
serious
Easter egg.
trouble.
So
What on earth are you
Okay.
doing in here?
Okay. Cool.
Reading.
yeah.